there's my FaceTime cam, but where's my this one? There we go. This is weird. Okay, sorry about that. Just make sure that, yep, it's working on other pages. Weird. I've also forgotten to do this, so excuse the sort of behind the curtains setup. You guys quickly get to see how I actually set up my stream. Hope everyone's going well this evening. I've got Socks with me. She's just below the camera at the moment, so. And hey, Trash Fox, how are you? You get to actually meet Socks. This is my cat Socks. She sits here with me for most of the day. And is the reason why every now and then in a blue moon you might get random comment. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And it's like, it's my cat Socks. You bet, sweetie. She doesn't like staying in one spot. She'll walk back and forth like this all the time. So how's your day been? At least, Trash Fox. I hope you're going well. You get to actually see me do some programming. Hopefully it's interesting. So today what we're going to do is we're going to neaten this up so it looks nice, because it's just a bit of text jumped onto, just vomited onto the screen. We've got to make a couple of borders and so forth like that. Make it so that when people realize they can click on it. Yeah, I've been streaming, I forgot how long now. I think the start of 2021. So it's been a little while. But your day's been good? Oh yeah, yep. My day's also been very productive, which is good. So yeah, I've did stuff at work. Just fixing up issues clients were having. Nothing spectacular. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to jump into this, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to use the dev tools on here just to figure out something nice looking on here. So I was thinking a simple border. Let's go top 1 pixel. We are going to pick, let's go blue violet for the moment. Let's go solid. Now, because we only have one of these, I am actually going to add a new change task item. I'm just going to be like cat socks, implementation user, and so forth like that. So the idea is I will be getting rid of this and actually incorporating in here, and I'll be getting rid of these two. And the reason behind that is just to simplify the UI for the moment, because you don't need it until you click into it. Oops. All right, so we've got 2 items in here. What I want to do is I want to click on this, and I want to just not do that. I want to actually add in that border to see what it'll look like with 2 of them. And it looks okay. It looks fine. There needs to be a bit of spacing between both of them though. So what we want to do is margin. I'm going to put on the top 10 pixels. No, let's go 20 pixels. I think 20 pixels looks really, really nice. So margin top 20 pixels. Or we could do margin 10 pixels and 0. So that should, in theory, do top and bottom. I don't think that. I think I've just got to increase that to 15. Okay, so as you see, we're just doing that. I think it needs one more line. So border, bottom, 1 pixel, blue, violet, solid. And it, oh, we've got an issue because I put solid. No, that doesn't work either. So I feel like they've got to be, yeah, right. So I'm just going to look up something very quickly. I'm going to go CSS, get final child socks. Can you go on your bed? Thank you. So what this does is this will get the last child. So we want the last child. We want to actually add in a couple of custom things into that last child. So we're just going to click on this little button again, and we're just going to go last child, and it doesn't like that. Last hyphen child. All right, it's found it. So margin bottom, let's put 30 pixels. It gives a bit more space. Border bottom, one pixel solid. Let's just pick that one color. Let's untick this. The line is there. Do blue, violet, just to get the same colors and so forth like that. So as you see, everything kind of looks okay. Okay, and I will probably need padding bottom. Let's do 15 pixels. Or 20. 15. Okay, and now I'm just going to make up my mind whether or not I like that. I mean, I need to do more with the text. Sorry, socks. Can you go in your bed? Thank you. No. In your bed. You get forced cuddles. Alright, you're getting forced cuddles. Alright, you get to watch it be cuddled. Whilst I decide this. So, I've got to do some research about how I can actually implement this text so this line stands out more. I could have this at the top above all of this. Very easily. This makes sense here, and having the status at the bottom makes sense. So I think I'm going to have to do that. As for the borders themselves, what we're trying to actually do is if we open up another tab, we just go to, I think, Project 2. We're trying to do something like this. Ooh, what's happened there? Oh, it has a duplicate up. Oh, okay. So yeah, we're trying to do something like this where everything... I've just realized, in the sense of UI, UX, this doesn't make sense having it like this. And I could do mini cards and so forth like that. Very similar to how I've got customers set up. So something mini like this in here. How are you, Sandy? I hope you're going well. But we can always tweak these and so forth like that. So, and I might do that here. I might actually just implement a card-based looking thing in here. And then just add margin around. So, if I just refresh, there we go. That's as good as the git push force. I've actually had to use the force once, and I forgot why I had to use it. But yeah, something is with Bitbucket. Something in Bitbucket didn't want me to push my code, and I was getting really frustrated. And someone was like, "Yeah, just force it." And I was like, "All right." And then everything was fine at the end of the day. Usually not well. Do you mean as usually not? Oh, are usually not well? If it's your own code, it's fine. Oh, okay. Yeah. So let's play around with this again, but if someone else's code, yeah. Fair. Yes. Yeah. All right. Straight off the bat, I'm going to put. Oops, didn't mean to click on it. I was actually meant to highlight it. Straight off the bat, I am going to quickly change this to be above. I mean, maybe I can pull me a beach. You certainly can. It is open source. And do some minor changes. And then git push. Alright, so I've got this. There's the dates. So what I want to actually do, I'm going to delete those 4 lines. And I'm just going to paste them in here. Wait a few seconds. Hit refresh. So it looks better already. So I'm going to not click on that. I'm going to click on this. And straight away, what I'm going to do is border 1 pixel, solid. Let's go with a light gray. Okay, margin. We want 10 pixels by 5 pixels. Yeah, I like that. Padding. All right, with the padding, what we want is, let's give some good padding, top, bottom, and so forth like that. Yeah, all right. I like that idea. And then we can make that whole entire div element an A tag. Use PHP. I can. So I do use WordPress. So I've developed in WordPress before, and I've developed in Laravel before. I had a Laravel project which introduced me into VueJS, which is why I'm using VueJS as the front end in New Beach, just because I knew it more than Angular and React at the time. And I am 36. I am old. I've been around the block quite a bit. Yeah, been in the workforce for I don't want to know how many years. I'm still improving myself every single day. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I remember trying to learn PHP 5 and absolutely, because I learned C before PHP. And the one thing you learn in C, especially when dealing with databases and so forth like that, I should say C and C++, one thing with databases and so forth like that is you've got to sanitize your fields, and it's something that is beat into you, especially back then, because it was a very good way of actually, hacking our website. And I remember PHP, and this is just a problem with management, not the language itself, but they made a boo-boo with a sanitizer, and essentially they had the sanitizer, I forget what it's called now, but they had like _real at the end of the function. You were meant to change everything to that new one and so forth like that. But if you ever looked up online how to actually extract details and stuff like that from a form and so forth like that, they always taught you the old version, and I was like, this is a terrible freaking thing. This is going to bite so many people on the ass later on, because that one still had massive flaws in it. And then I'm glad that I started using Laravel and WordPress, and I didn't need to deal with most of that. So, yes. It was around about that same time that I actually looked up Python web framework, came across Django, and started using Django too. Yeah. All right, I like that design. I think that design should also probably fit in here, and we'll probably update this very shortly to have that design. It's simple, it's easy. We can have box shadows over it. I will strip out the bold or the strong in here. And probably reference something just to make that look a lot nicer. So one other thing that I want to actually do is I want to see if a background color will add any impact on a very slight gray. Django is Python, yes. So I want a very light gray. Oops, RGB alpha. So I want a 0, 0, 0, and then 0.1. 0.01. Something very light. Or I could use, what is it, E0, E0, E0? EF. Yeah, it's actually a very useful language. Yes, it's hot these days. So back when I was a data scientist, this is going back a decade. Back then it wasn't called data science. Python and R were having a little battle out, being like, all right, which one's gonna come back in, be part of that whole entire ecosystem, stuff like that. And Python sort of won. And I was learning Python around then. And then around about 9 years ago, I moved into, was it 9 years ago or 8 years ago now? 8 years ago, I moved into IT. Ended up using my Python skills to actually automate, automate my job sometimes. So which was nice. Your primary language is C#. You gotta wear glasses for C#. But yeah, that's my primary working language at the moment. So at work, we use a lot of .NET and Umbraco. So I do believe I've done a stream with Umbraco here where I rebuilt the New Beach website using Umbraco. So yeah, I actually enjoy .NET. I'm liking Umbraco a lot more now that it is available to compile on my Mac, so which is a godsend. All right, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Does it go up to G? I think. No, it's F. Yes, you're looking cute. So I think having something like that, being very subtle. I do want a lighter grey though. So we're just gonna touch on this and see if we can just go just a little bit up. Do I work full time? Yes I do. So I work 3 days at home, 2 days at work at the moment. So that's 5 days a week. And yeah, you need to hire UX to deal with this. Yes. But sadly, I don't have any money at the moment to do that, but that is one of my plans. So everything I'm earning from this stream is getting put in a little pool, and then hopefully I'll be able to hire someone to do the UX and the UI. So I just need to get it to a usable state so that people will be like, all right, it looks horrible, but I can use it. As opposed to, oh, what the hell, crazy person did this. So, yeah. All right, so there we go. So I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna go into the back end. We're gonna go into our SAS. We're gonna go into our components. We're gonna hit our run sheet. So that's just displaying that. We've got this at change task details. So change task details. We just need this information. So that will set up that. 3 days from home, 2 days at the office seems to be standard now. Yeah. When I was living closer to the office, it was flipped. Mainly because I was just riding into work and that was usually my sort of exercise. I still am trying to ride into work, but it's about an hour and 40 minutes one way. Oh well, between an hour and 40 minutes and 2 hours. It's usually almost 2 hours on the way back just because I'm so exhausted. Okay, so that should have compiled if I saved. Yes, I did. So we've got something like this. This looks nice. Now, the next thing I want to do is make it so anywhere here it can be... I think anywhere here clicked should do that. Problem is, I don't want to get... I've got to bind everything in like this. So what I could do is pull everything out at this level and just have a... All right, let's let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Oh, not that much. Actually, probably that much. Let's neaten this up. Okay, like so. So assigned user and yeah, all right, we definitely want this as an A. And hey, Nocturnal, how are you? I hope you're going well. Okay, so that hopefully would have worked. I can't reach my mouse at the moment because Socks is in the way. Oof. Okay, I've screwed up somewhere. But that is fine. I see where I've screwed up. I'm alright, overslept, it's 10 a.m. Well, fair enough, you quickly pull out the laptop and go, blah, 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 I'm on. That's something I can't do tomorrow. I've got to actually wake up at 7 and be out of here by 7:30. I've got an appointment. Alright, cool. So this is working good. What we need to do is we need to just change a few items in here, and that won't be a problem. So we don't want the blue text and we don't want the underline. So what we're doing is we'll just highlight this. We will click the plus. So change task name. What we want is text decoration will be none. And then the color will be the black. And yeah, I like that. Luckily no one talks to me in the mornings. The good thing about most of my team being in the US, fair enough. Oh, alright. There is Socks being cute. Alright, Socks. I'm gonna... Nope. Alright, cool. Oh, she just wants to dance around today. You haven't quite figured out the camera positions yet, sweetie. Alright, Alright, so that's what we want to do. We still I like the blue overlay whenever someone rolls over on it. As for the other two, what we want is text, decoration none. And that's fine. The time we didn't actually put in. Text, decoration is none. And I'm just wondering if I can do this. Yeah, she has been a bit cute today. She hasn't gone outside and she didn't attack the window when there was a strange cat walking by. So she's been rather well behaved. So what we want to do, so we actually want to hit all the A's. And I think it's this, and then A, and then text, decoration none, and then color is black, unless we've told it to overdo it. Or maybe not. I did like the, I think I'll keep the blue in. Because it stands out. And I just need the text decoration. Yeah, alright, let's do that. So, in here, we've got the change task details. And then we've got all these details and so forth like that. I just need to go verb A, I think. My voice didn't wake up. Didn't wake you up this morning. They are my backup alarm. Yes, Eve, my first cat, used to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know why. My next cat, Toby Tripod, loved to sleep in. I would wake up and he would always be like, why? But he would always want me to go to bed at 10 o'clock in the night. All right, I like that. I like that. That looks very, very nice. I'm noticing that this here is a bit lightweighted compared to this. Something I should fix up. But this looks really nice compared to what we had and compared to what I was going to do. And I'm going to go back and actually fix it up on here and actually apply it here because I reckon it'll look really nice here. All right. Let's fix up the project. Well, this isn't to do with the projects. This is to do with the links, so the object link stuff. And let's fix that up. So I'm jumping into object linked, and what I'm going to do is going to get rid of that straight off the bat. All right, I'm going to put in border, 1 pixel, solid, and a fat fingered, and then a light gray, like so. We'll get rid of all those other borders and stuff like that, and we'll fix this up and make it look nice. So margin, we had, I think, 16 pixels and then 5 pixels, and then padding, we had 10 pixels or 10 pixels and 5 pixels. Yep. And then we had light gray. So yeah, let's just copy this in. Might as well fix up both things. Just gonna close this, 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 gonna close this. Gonna keep that open, gonna keep that open. Object link, yep, gonna keep that open, close this, and close this. Just closing everything I don't need. So object link, what we wanna do is we're just going to copy this. We're just going to paste it in. I clicked the wrong button. Now, object link border, I don't think we'll need that anymore, so we'll get rid of that. We'll also find the object link. We'll actually, might be quicker just to search for it. So object link border. I think we did this as a cheat method. Let's get rid of it. Okay, let's wait a few seconds and hit reload. All right, that's looking so much better now. We just need to fix up this little tiny thing. And this tiny little thing has just a right position. So if we key in 13 pixels, sucks. That should be fine. Now we've got to test this quickly on mobile phone. So let's just hit reload just to make sure what we've done is working. All right, we're happy. Let's go with the iPhone 6, which is our smallest phone we're going to be dealing with. So as you can see, it does this. All right. And this looks a lot better and it flows a lot better too. And as we increase it, bang. All right, I'm happy. Okay. Let's test this also on mobile format. So we just go down to this. I do have to fix up that. Should take too long to fix that up. So yeah, I do like how this is blue text. It stands out from the rest of the stuff. It's something I might actually implement in here. So object link title, the color is inherit. If I just untick that, bang. So overflow clip, no wrap, yep, that's fine. Set the details, object link title. There's only one in here. All right, I think it's this one line. I'm just going to comment it out. Use Cypress to test it. Yes, at the moment we are using Cypress, but it's I will have to actually sit down and plan out my end-to-end tests. So far, the end-to-end tests should be broken because I've made so many changes and just never gone back and updated them. However, I am looking at other sort of libraries out there too, with the idea that I want to be able to write end-to-end tests quickly. Just because I don't have a lot of time. All right, that looks. All right, now object link. All right, so that's a very lighter gray and that's minor. All right, cool. Yep. I like that. Okay, going back to this, we've done this. This does need a change slightly. So we'll have I wrote some test cases with Cypress for my work. The video playback is not quite useful. Oh, fair enough. I haven't played around with the video feedback yet on Cypress. When I was doing it, I was usually viewing the browser screen and stuff like that. Tedious to find an element on the front end. Yes. When I was saying with Python I was automating my work, I was using Selenium. I learnt tedium with Selenium. Just finding some of the UI elements sometimes, it just refused to find it at times. Don't know if it was Selenium's fault or the program that I was automating. But yeah, it is. With Near Beach, I will eventually get around with giving good IDs and so forth like that to certain fields so that people could try and automate some stuff. So yes, it's just tedious in general, I feel, yeah. Hence I started it and didn't actually go back and do it, but there are some things which are rearing their ugly head whenever I do a deployment. Every now and then when I compile, some of these pages won't actually load up. And the fix to it is to recompile. And for some strange reason, I don't know why, every now and then a page won't work. So I've got to go back in and actually write some tests that actually hit every single page possible in Near Beach to make sure it's rendered, that it will render. And yes I am. So there is a rewards. Watch me solve the cube, which is for 400. So yeah. Alright, I'm liking how this is looking. So the status will be like this. I remember when I worked with the dude, I mentioned that I think they should change their API. He said, yeah, but I know why they have blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? They've changed the API to how I said they should do it. Nice. I am mostly writing API tests now. Oh, nice. That is something else I should start doing too. So I'm a bit terrible. We were doing unit tests a couple of weeks back. I've got a massive spreadsheet which essentially has every single form in it, potential data which I could use and so forth like that. So I've got to go through and actually build upon that to test. API tests are the way forward, yeah. So yes, I'm all ears. By the way, if you've got tips and tricks or something like that, I'm all ears, because I'm not the best at writing tests, and I will admit that. I'm not the best at UI, UX, I will admit that. So I'm all ears for that. Alright, so I like this how it is. So status draft, and what we need is when this goes into, let's say, update, submit for approval. Now, depending if it's, and then we start RFC. So when we start RFC, we've got the status when to start. We'll have buttons being like you can start and not start, but they will appear depending if certain conditions are met. And we've got to build them now. So for example, we will have the blocked functionality added in. So we need to make sure that, hey, this button isn't appearing if it reaches this particular case and so forth like that. It's going to be a bit of messy code, and I'm not going to like it at all. Yeah, it's be one of those things where I will have to actually look at every single permutation of how someone can set up these tests. Do you have an instance of Near Beach running somewhere? I do, but it's rather old at the moment. The problem is I've made a massive sort of change and so forth like that between the last version and this version, that it's best just to download this version. Go to GitHub. What you can actually do, so yes, but you will need just wait. There is documentation here to set up on your local. Otherwise, there's the demo, but the demo is rather far behind at the moment. I've been meaning to update it, but I've been concentrating on this more. And then on here, there is the simple development environment where you can actually set it up on your local pretty easily, just using the Git repository. 2 years behind. Not quite that far, thank Christ. Because I've improved a lot with my UI. Well, you know, if you ever saw the original Near Beach, you would be like, yeah, you've definitely improved. There's a lot more to go for my improvement, I will admit that. Otherwise, you can easily set up your local environment to actually be the 0.30 branch, or yeah, you most likely. Otherwise, there is some information on how to self-host using Docker. At the moment, the Docker is on the last version of Near Beach, but we've made massive changes to the database and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a massive sort of, for people going from 0.29 branch to 0.30 branch, it's going to be a massive change. I'm going to have to actually write up some SQL scripts and so forth like that. Just because I drew a line in the sand being like, no, this is alpha at the moment, we need to actually fix up the database and the models and all that kind of stuff, and the only way to do that is sort of break stuff. So I've broken a lot. And yeah. But otherwise, there is our Discord. I do believe it could be set up on some self-hosting services and so forth like that too. Remember when I was lazy at my previous job, I just set up screens to run the services I built. Some Telegram chat bots. Oh, nice. All right, so when it's at this state, we want people to be able to start their tasks, but you can have tasks that are blocked and tasks that are run in parallel. So, for example, notifying the stakeholders and backing up the database can be done at the same time because they're independent of each other. And the boss says you'll need to set up containers. Containers are quite useful, I will admit that. It took me a while to warm up to them, but I see the value of them nowadays. I've got a friend who pretty much most of his services are in containers. So I'm just solving the cube at the moment. Alright, so the previous code for this, because I haven't pushed up my code, and I do want to change this code quite a bit. This code is very old, and I think we can do it in a smart way. I need to write a little Discord bot to get pip to turn the extractor fan off when the humidity in the laundry gets too high. Containers are the solution to it. Works on my computer, yep. Definitely. Alright, components. We're dealing with RFCs, so requests for changes. And we're dealing with the modules, run sheet list. So the problem is we had this massive sort of just if statement after if statement after if statement after if statement. And I'll zoom in just a little bit more so others can read this code. And we're just thinking how we can do this. Now, one of the first things off the bat is there is a common theme throughout all of this, and that the user level has to be greater than 1. So we can actually extract that out and put it up here. If, and then, yeah. Luckily, it's just ifs. I don't think there's any else's apart from the one that I've got highlighted at the moment in here. So I just want to do something that is a lot nicer. Yes, I know socks. And the thing is, what I could potentially do is, because they're all update change status, and then they've got the change task, and then they've got the ID there. And essentially that ID, for example, in this case, it'll be 3 plus 1. This will be 4 plus 1. Success button is when this is 5, but I don't know what it does. I don't think that's actually activating anything. So why use change task? It's camel case. What do you mean? Sorry. And then you use change task status like, oh, okay. So that is a JavaScript function. This is actually from the database. So just a quick glance, I can be like, that's a JavaScript function, that's database. And in the end, I will be getting rid of these square brackets too, and just having dots. Yeah. So there is a bit of crazy logic behind why that is. So, and it's mainly just so that when you quickly look at the program, you can be like, all right, cool, this is, because it's in this casing, it's got to be one of these. If it's in that casing, it's got to be one of that. That's the joy of, dev sometimes. Can't you extract the data into an object and then write a little loop? I could do that. I think we could get away without actually doing the loop. I reckon a lot of this we can do as conditions. So all we need to do is make sure this is showing the correct title, which we can use a switch statement to do. One of my previous classmates uses underscore for all his variables. Yep. Some people, like myself, have trouble reading it when it's in camel case. Not so much nowadays that I am so used to programming and stuff like that, but definitely when I was learning it and starting out, I had a lot of difficulty reading in camel case. It is just, don't know. I don't know what it was. It was just one of those things, which is why I used to hate camel case a lot, and why a lot of my code used to just have underscores in it. But however, I'm now trying to bring back the proper sort of way you're meant to name variables and so forth like that. And I'm using tools to help point out where I've missed it. Which is one of the major database things which we did. So yeah, reading speed is slower for camel case. It's not how we're used to reading. Oh, I did not know that. I just always had trouble. Would be fun to write sentences like this, yes. Had to once, long time ago. Found an issue, was writing in the issue, and the input wouldn't want to accept spaces. The joys of the early internet. It would be worse like this, yeah. Yeah, I used to have so many issues just reading that. So yeah. And it's why sometimes doing... This also depends on the person's background, and I know this affects languages that don't have plurals. So when you actually got plurals, so for example, task results, and you loop through it and you use task results, sometimes people get confused. I'm known to actually do that type of loop. There goes socks. You can smell the water. You're like, ugh. Which is also sometimes you will find bugs where you're like, there was an S in here. Yes, I love my fizzy water. Right, so what I need to do is just get this. But I don't know what this is doing. We also... Alright, I'm gonna bring up JS Paint. Keep forgetting if it's Paint.js or JS Paint, yep. We're gonna go in night mode, there we go. Just make everyone's eyes a lot better. So, I am skipping some of these steps. So anything in the asterisk is essentially steps before we submit the night mode. Poor man's night mode, all right? Anything in the asterisk is anything in sort of draft mode or waiting for approval type of thing. So with the change tasks, we go waiting to start. Usually test case functions use underscore to separate, remove, no parameters, returns empty. Yes, I've noticed some of that. I need to wrap my head around more test cases. Yeah. Remove is like a function name. Oh, okay, yep. So waiting to start, and then you've got started. So if we go back to here, we had it in GitHub. So we've got start task, which puts it into started, and then no parameter is like not passing a parameter for the function, and then empty is the result. Yeah, it's action case expected. That's actually a neat naming convention. That's combining both camel case and the underscores. Neat. All right, so start task will update the task to 4, which is started, and then we've also got other functionality we want to key in. So for example, we want finish task and so forth like that. All right, this is going to be a lot more complicated than I want it to be. Because things people could do. So started. So once they've started, it can block out to success. It can block out to fail. It can also block out to be paused too. All right, so let's have a look at the code. Let's have a look at our models. Because this is something we actually updated in our models too. There's our models. And I will eventually split up the models. I know this file is it's just huge. It's just massive. Oh, it sucks. select everything can cause trouble. So we've got RFC status, and I do believe RFC status is both for the car change tasks and for the status itself. So we've got draft waiting for approval, approved. So those are fine. Those are the asterisk ones. So we've got started. So waiting to start, which is the approved. Then we've got started. Then it can be finished, paused, ready for QA. Okay, so what we want to do is you know what's going to be easier? Oops. So we've got our started. So that will then hit ready for QA. Paused. Or God forbid, failed. Now paused can go back to this, or it can go back up to started. Ready for QA means that the person who QAs it goes in and they either pass it or fail it. Or in the rare case, they can send it back. Like so. Seems like a good little state machine, yeah. It's won't lie. It is a bit convoluted, but this is kind of what happens with requests for changes. Or how we want to set up Near Beach for requests for changes. I mean, in theory, someone could go from this all the way to pass without a problem. Because you could sit there and the QA could be kept checking on their computer. They're like, it's fine, just go to the next one. So you click on the button still to go into request for change, and then you click on the button just to pass it. Oh god. Oh no, I just deleted all that. Alright. Draw.io. Change task flow chart. Alright. That doesn't work. I'm keeping this as simple as possible. I'm not good at flowcharts. So this is waiting to start. Then the user starts. And then from there, got three options. I should zoom in so you guys can actually read this. I'm terribly sorry. So it starts. Let's put this down here. Let's put this down here. Let's put this down here. So that it can pause. Ready for QA. Fail. Actually, that's one thing which is going to be an end. So fail. I actually want that. So ready for QA can go to that. All right, cool. Pause can do that. Also, I kind of want someone, if they have accidentally paused it, I kind of want them to go back here and then go back to ready for QA. And this is a one-way fail. And the pause can fail. So no, let's not have the pause fail. I remember I had to write one doing automatic status updates, and I made a nice little state machine, and people thought it was really complicated until they went to add another one, and it took them 5 minutes. Fair enough, yep. I might just move these just to visually clarity type of thing. So waiting to start means once you hit start, it's started, that's it. You can pause it if you accidentally started it, and then you can unpause it. With the pause, we only want start. And then with start, we've got pause, ready for fail, and ready for QA, sorry, and fail. And fail will be an end state. If someone goes to fail, that's it, it's failed. You can't undo that type of thing. If someone's gone into ready QA, they've got either they can revert it back to start, or they can revert it to fail. Otherwise, success. And once again, once you success it, that's it. All right. Rejected. That's the fail in the change tasks. So pause and ready for QA are the new new statuses. All right, yeah. And now let's key in our numbers. Those status updates were a really bad interface on the wrong order, would break the system on the other end. The status updates where a really bad interface one is in a wrong order would break. Sorry, could you clarify that, Nocturnal? Whilst that's happening, I'm going to match these up. So starts would be not number 9. Started would be number 4. We're sending the updates to another system. Oh, oof, yes. So pause will be 7. The system would crash. Oh, if we sent a packed up update before the pick, yeah. Oof. Ready for QA is 8. Fail will be rejected, so that will be a 6. and finished is a 5. Now I know these are out of order, but that's because we built the system a while ago. We've added on new statuses and so forth like that since then. So yeah, hopefully no more to be added. Hopefully we've hit 99% of cases and we don't need to add in any more statuses for anyone. I think this little workflow would work really well. So now we're visualizing it. So waiting to start. So if we're on waiting to start, we would only want to see 4. When we're on start, we would want to see 7, 8, and 6. When we're on 7, we want to see 4 and only 4. When we're on 8, we want to see 6, 5, and 4. When we're on 6, we want to see none, and 5, we want to see none. So drawing this diagram out has really helped me visualize how I'm going to actually program this in. So the next thing is, did we want to create something like this? And the thing is, we might have to. It's going to be ugly as hell. Another thing is I probably won't have, just due to how complicated, well, when I say complicated, due to how many if statements and so forth like that. Yeah. I think it might be too complicated to do this as one sort of A tag, and we're going to actually have to split it. Don't do the state machine in the front end. Oh, but that's the fun. I don't think the back end sending it out, it's just because the reason why I'm probably going to do it in the front end is if someone's like on here and they're like, this is waiting to start, and then we've got a start button there and they click start, we want this to update automatically and we want the relevant buttons to appear next here. So that's probably why I'm going to do it in JavaScript. Rather than hit start, have it send it to the back end and have the back end send a relative packet or status or anything like that to render here. Technically, I am sending stuff into the back end. Could do that. But it's just as quick on the front in this sort of case. So I'm probably, but you want the back end to expect it? Yeah. So what will actually happen is when I click on that button, it will send, yeah. It will send that data to the back end. If it fails, so for example, the server goes down, touch wood, it doesn't. What will actually happen is it will come back and just revert everything. Or should. Most likely just be like, oh no, the server's down. So, yeah. Another, I kind of want to put this in its own component. Yeah. I mean, I could always get the back end to to the front end and get it to update. But I think I'm overcomplicating it if I do. Whereas I can have each button in here and a simple statement with those specific conditions when it should appear. Yeah, I think that's going to be the easiest option. We'll also get rid of this VLs. The other thing is, did I want to put this in its own component? I think in this sort of case, responsive. Yes, sucks. Because when someone clicks on that button, I'll update the state management and send that data to the back end. So. I want to get this and have a VF because I want to put this up here. Trying to remember if JavaScript's got an in. JavaScript value in array. Because I could simplify something very easily. Because we've got this drawn out. Let's say we're on ready for QA. I'll be like, all right, that particular link will need 4, 5, and 6 is the status. No, sorry. Let's say I'm on ready for QA. The button for start would be like, all right, does the status is the status in this array which contains 7, 8, or 6? You want a map of arrays, right? Just to check to see if something is in an array, includes, that's it. So I can simplify this whole entire thing by bringing this, putting it down here, keeping that for there, the change task and all that kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, I think this will work easily. So I'm just going to copy this for reference. This is the, yep, cool. And we'll have to ignore certain cases when something's blocked. Something like current state, next state. I was doing it the other way. So you'll see in a minute. You'll see in a minute. I'm probably going to write this in a messy way and then later clean it up. All right. If results is 0, all right. Object delete. We don't want object delete. We're actually in the wrong one. We want object run sheet. Run sheet. You'll see. You'll see. All right. Status. We always want status, no matter what now. So first off, div v if user level is greater than 1. Straight off the bat, we are moving that original piece of code there. That way we don't have multiple of these and so forth like that. So the next thing we want to do is, no, all good, all good. I don't mind. I like soundboarding and actually having responses back. So don't worry about it. I'm pasting this in here just as reference. So we are going to put in start task. So it'll be href. Actually, we don't need JavaScript. It's just being. I don't think I need that, but actually screw it. Let's make this a button. Let's So class equals btn primary. We're not worrying about the change task button at the moment. And then we want v on click equals update change task status, change task, and then it's going to be .pk and then 4. So we're getting rid of these square brackets. And then for the vif, I'm just going to leave that blank for the moment. I am then going to start task. That was weird. I typed in task and nothing happened. This line before I just get annoyed though. If I ever do, just tell you that. And I don't know. All good. All good. That's fine. All right. So what I want is change task.fields.change task status. Actually, no. What we want to do, and I don't know if this is possible at this level. So we'll have an array. So when we're on start, we want 7, 8, and 6 to appear. So 7, 8, and 6. We're just doing this in dot, and then we had includes in here. And I don't know if this will work. Change task status. And I have a feeling it's not going to like it. But that's not too much of an issue. We can always add in variables down here. Yeah, all right. It's not going to like that. So, start array. And then we go down here. We've got data. So we've got start array, and then we've got 6, 7, and was it 8? I forgot. And 8. Requires that attribute value. What? Oh, whoops. All right. Let's actually see if it does 6, 7, and 8. Let's see if it does it here. Yeah. So yeah, if the state is any of those numbers, we want that button to appear. So for example, let's say I'm on ready for QA. I know I want success, fail, and start to appear. So then those 3 buttons will appear, and they'll all be separate. They all do separate things. So it looks like that will work. So I can get rid of this down here. Wherever my data is there. Yep, cool. Yeah, I don't think I could do this in a loop or anything like that. At least not yet. So we've got start task. Let's do pause. So let's just copy this. Let's actually use Vim bindings for this. So let's change this. So let's go pause task. And let's see what numbers we can pause this task. So let's remove this for the moment. So pause will be 7. So this number's got to be changed to 7. And the only thing that can appear will be start. So that will be a... Actually, no. Yeah, only 4. So if someone's got the status of 4, that pause button will appear. So it's the state that should show the button. Yep. 4, yep. Thank you. Delays the fun, yes. I like to think of it getting the same answer at the exact same time. We're just in sync, but delays. Good old lag. In the future, you'll be able to tell your grandkids or whatever. It'll be like, yeah, back in my day, we had programming lag. All right. The thing we want to do is ready for QA. So I'm just ready for QA. Do I have that in? Yes, I do. So ready for QA, that was number 8. So we need to change things to number 8. Let's set task ready for QA. Have you tried VS Code Live Share? I don't think I have. But I can see my cat annoying me socks by pressing a couple of DDs a couple of times whilst I'm code sharing with someone else, and then all of the code just disappears. Okay, so if someone is on, for this to show, ready for QA, they'll need start to show. Yes, it's the only one that can get to it. So start. So once again, this is just 4. It's pretty good, but I reckon we would still have lag over that separation, yeah. We just end up deleting the other's work and doing the exact same thing. Okay, fail. Use it with friends all the time when I could verbalize the changes. Oh, fair enough. Okay, so fail is 6. And then this is set task to fail. All right, the ones that can fail, we've got start, so 4 and 8. Fair. I couldn't verbalize the changes. Fair enough. Yep. Four and 8. Now we'll change some of these to not so primary, but at the moment this is fine. Oh, we've got to check the time too. Oh no, it's only 9 o'clock. I've got plenty of time. And then success. So success is a 5. And that's only appearing when 8 whoops. All right, let's wait a couple of seconds. I think this diagram really helped. Sometimes you just got to do it. You got to draw out what you need in a simple diagram. Waiting to start. We didn't key in this one. That's not a problem. There's going to be a simple change, so that's going to be approved. So we just need to go up here and stick in a 3 up here, and then hit save the correct way. I've just done the Windows save then. Wait a few seconds. Hit refresh. And then we've got our start task. So when you hit start task, bang. And then task failed. And then we don't want start tasks to actually have that there. So I've got the numbers wrong. So 3, 7, and 8. We don't need 6. 6 is, yeah. All right, cool. Not a problem. Simple. This is why we test. We just hit reload. So task failed, done. It is dead. If we go to this pause task, it doesn't know what's going to happen at the moment. The status is like this. We actually go to VueJS and look at that particular change task, which is number 2, the fields, status. Change task status is 7, which I do believe is correct. 7 is pause, yeah. So that's working perfectly fine. I'm just wondering if we reload it, does it work? Yes, it does. We just need to actually key in the status for this. Not going to be a problem. We can easily do that, but we can start the task again. Set the task to a QA. We can start the task or set the task to success, and we did. Task finish, and so forth like that. So let's update these statuses. So if memory serves me correctly, this is a switch case down here. There we go. So we've got draft, waiting for approval, waiting to start, task started, task finished successfully. Task failed. Case 7. Return paused task. And 8's ready for QA, if memory serves me correctly. That is a very good question. So what I'm going to actually do for the failed cases, so if they click on failed or success, it's going to pop up with a little modal being like, are you sure you want to continue? So I do need to put in 2 bug reports, and I'm going to do that right now. Not bug reports, 2 bugs right now to be like, we need to actually implement this in. Yeah. So it's otherwise, with everything else, if you whoops, I paused it, it's going to be like, all right, I'm just going to start it again. That's fine. Maybe ask for a comment or something. I could actually do that, yeah. And then put a comment against the change task. All right. I could do that for both success and fail, because sometimes you might want, and very rarely might want to put a comment against a successful one. So yeah, and this works still, so which is good. So we can close the thing. Do you have a history of what happened to the task? No, I don't. it is something I could easily set up, but it will actually have to be stored in a separate table. It will have to be in a history table. Just because it updates the object association directly. Well, actually, no, it updates the change task table directly. So I'm just doing a quick stretch. So yeah, it is something I could implement, but we'll have to create a history tab. And then that history, you would have to be like, all right, after 3 months, we want to just delete that data. That data is no longer necessary type of situation. So we can't, I'm just going to close this request for change because we actually completed it. So what did I want to do is, so I've just done that. We're happy with that. I'm going to add in those 2 issues. Look at my current issues. I think I've got 35 at the moment. 34. All right, cool. We will have to go through some of those soon and crunch them down. Not too much of a problem. So, user is not prompted when failing a change task. So, method 1, log into near beach 2, open up an already started RFC, 3, go to the change tasks, start a task and fail it. Expected results, a modal will appear asking the user for input on why the task has failed, .e, and then blocked modal. Example, and to make sure the user hasn't misclicked, right? Actual results. Nothing, user is not notified. User can accidentally fail a task. And then go to cab. And then like, what happened? And be like, I misclicked. So this is major, fair enough. I remember it was useful for debugging when I was working on Windows management system. We had state change breadcrumbs everywhere. It was meant for them to audit what happened, but it was a debugging godsend. Fair enough. Well, I'm more than happy to put it in as a feature. So it just means there'll be just an extra table in there. So this is submitted, this will be assigned to me. The subsystem would be change tasks, but there's no subsystem called change tasks at the moment, so RFCs are request for change. And then I'm gonna create. Then I'm gonna essentially copy. User is not prompted when successfully applying success to change task and success it. Start task. QA the task, then success it. A mode will appear for the input on this way. Success. Has it misclicked? All right, nothing. It's probably terrible English. I know. Link issue. Oh, what happened? No, bug. Submitted me request. Create. All right, cool. And just because this is a feature request, I'm going into new features for NearBeach. I'm trying not to put feature requests within bugs. I'm trying to keep them separate. So request for change, down here, add audit history for not Kanban cards, sorry, change tasks. All right, it might be nice to add in a history table that can be utilized as an audit feature for the change tasks. .e whenever someone implements a change, it will record that change in the history table. Also, this can be used to track issues and conflicts with. Now that I think about it, having the flow as a separate component is a very good idea when people want their own janky flows. Yeah. I don't think I can program, not yet, definitely not yet with NearBeach. I don't think I can actually program in a separate flow than this, just because if we go to the models, this is hard-coded at the moment. I mean, it's plausible for me to actually do it, but it's going to be a lot of work. let's just not think about giving them their custom workflows. So I think this is pretty simple. When you start the workflow, you go start, all right, pause, all right, ready for QA, success or fail. And going from the start to success is pretty easy. You just 2 clicks. Done. So, and I am am I saving this on my drive? No, I'm not. All right, downloads, change task. On my computer at least. If you want, I don't mind working on something like that. Could start off by making the changes to allow it without giving people the ability to change it. If you, I'm more than happy for you. It requires code change, but the code change is simple. The only thing that's probably blocking you is the fact that I am probably going to flatpak, or whatever you want to call it, the models again. So these migrations, these extra ones, I want to actually put them into this initial one sometime soon. But yes, I'm more than open for people to come in and help. Yeah. And the way I would do it is I would essentially have these still, but it would be a layer lower, and then they have their own custom stuff in a table, and that way you can still reference these properties to be like, hey, it's in draft mode, waiting for approval, and so forth like that. I've done something similar with something else, and I forgot what it is. So yeah, absolutely forgot what it is now. Okay, so let's start cleaning up. All right, let's close that one. Let's keep that one open. Let's keep that one open. Let's close this one. Let's close this one. We don't need this one anymore. Let's start a new RFC. Let's actually get a couple of things in there, and let's actually change the styling. We could use a strategy pattern when I grab the states from an object, which is injected, and then it grabs the state. Yeah. We could use a strategic pattern. Okay. I will have to see how that works. Because I don't know if we've got the same idea. And I'm pretty sure we've both got two different ideas, which is fine. Everyone has different ideas. I just can't visualize it at the moment. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get these buttons up and looking nice. But the problem is I've changed this request for change to close. So let's do make buttons look nice. Let's start a new RSC. So in we go, bang, bang. Let's just go high, 0.30.0. No worries, I'll hack a proof of concept when I have time. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, definitely. It's greatly appreciated. I would love that. I'm just copying and pasting. None of that matters. Run sheet. Let's just bang in a couple of things in here. We need this and we need this. I do need to make this look a lot nicer. One thing which I'm actually tossing up. This is one of those things where I'm constantly having back and forth in my head whether to keep this as a modal and strip out the optional parts, because at the moment you don't need the optional parts. You don't need to, when someone's actually writing out a request for change, usually they will write out every single step and then go back in and set the times and so forth like that, and all the block statuses and all that fun stuff. So what I was actually thinking of is stripping this down and probably keeping it as a modal. Don't know yet. Instead of having it open up a new page. I've also been setting up a key cloak locally to have an open ID provider to test against. Oh, you could have them, but have them collapsed. Key cloak locally. I don't think I've used key cloak. To have an open ID provider to test against. Give me 2 seconds. We all know new stuff excites me. Provides a single sign out, which means the user only have to log out once to be logged out of all applications. Oh. Enable login with social networks, easy to add through the... Neat. One other thing which I do want to implement is third-party sort of login, so like GitHub and GitLab and Bitbucket and Jira and all that kind of stuff. So that way, and this is more of a long-term sort of thing, is that way people can log in and then link bugs and issues from those particular services in here, because those services don't have sort of a request for change system. And I think stepping forward with Nearbeach, if I get the request for change system up really, really strong, people might use it for that. Be able to set up all these change tasks and all that kind of stuff and be like, all right, cool, this release will actually deal with these particular bugs and issues, and have that sort of all automated. Yeah, so they will use OAuth, so that way I want Keycloak, so I have local OAuth. Oh, nice. I will one day have to play around with that. One day. Alright, I'm just gonna key in the same thing. I think I didn't add in any smartness around having the same name. Oh, I've copied Keycloak. Right. So, submit RFC for approval. Now that will automatically go through approval because there's no team leaders in this build. So I can just start the RFC. Once I figure it out, I write some docs. Nice. Yeah. All right, going down here, let's say we'll start this task. All right, cool. So straight off the bat, I'll be right back. I'm terribly sorry. I will put socks on the, you stay there, socks. I will be right back. I just need to go to the bathroom. All right, I am back. Cat butt. Yep. She does love showing her butt on Twitch. All right, so I just want to make these look nice. Now, if we actually go to, oh, I've got the wrong bootstrap. Let's go to the docs. Let's just search for buttons. Examples. So we kind of want to stick with these particular colors. We want danger, we want warning for the failures, we want success and all that kind of fun stuff. So straight at the bat, we want primary for start, we want secondary for pause, but also want to space these out a little bit better. So one thing I want to do, we don't actually have a class for this, but what we would want is we want display flex direction would also be, yeah, no, that will be a row, that's by default. Flex no, it's not that. Justify content. We want space evenly. No. I mean that works. I do like that. And then we just need a margin on the top. We'll just go margin. We'll go 10 pixels. And then of course 0. So let's go 15 pixels, 0, 10 pixels, and 0. And that looks. I'm not sharing my screen. Oops, I am so sorry. There we go. I'm just looking at these. So I will need that to be grayed out and all that kind of stuff, but we'll do that. And then when we're in mobile format, we need these to wrap. So flex, wrap, yeah, we'll wrap. Flex direction, we'll take that off. But each button, flex direction column will be better in this sort of case. And then when it's this small, we'll need a margin on each of those items underneath it, which we can do in CSS. So yeah, first things first, let's actually get that div back up. So hey socks. So what we want is class equals change task, and then I'm going to say buttons. So under change task, we'll have task buttons, display flex, flex direction, it will be column by default. Justify content will be space around, because that one looked really, really nice. We had margin, and we had 15 pixels, 0, 10 pixels, and 0. However, on mobile phone, it will be a bit of margin on those little items. And only on mobile phone. So what we want to do is we want to go button. Yeah, button. And then margin. We want 10 pixels and 0. Right. Just waiting a second for that to sort of recompile. Not how we wanted it, but not a problem. This is why we fix stuff up. Oh, did it not? There we go. That's what we want. Okay, so that looks nice. And then when it expands, we're gonna need to change it. So let's have a look at Bootstrap. Let's have a look at the, not components, but the breakpoints themselves, because I want to check each breakpoint. So 576. So in here, I'm going to change this to 576. Wrong thing I'm changing. Let's just change that to 1080. 800. Yeah, cool. Yep. 576. I mean, yeah, that's fine at that level. You can add presets. Yeah, I should add presets in here. One of these days. Yeah, I'm just guesstimating we definitely want it to have a breakpoint there, so that way these aren't like that. So yeah, I used to have them for different scan guns we used. Scan guns? Oh, like the beep beep. Oh, fair enough. All right, so definitely there we want them in a row. So we want, and I've opened up the wrong thing on the wrong tab. Click on here. So this, we want it then to go back into row. But I'm just wondering at the 500 point, so 577. We can get away with this at 577. All right, I think that's the biggest one, the one with the most buttons on it. When I worked on the WMS, the users had them. They were ruggedized Android. Ruggedized Android devices. Oh, okay, much like how Apple modified their iPhones and stuff like that to use in store, and they've got the scanners and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Very useful, I would say. Yeah. All right. Cool. It's neat what you can do with a phone nowadays. I remember this is over 10 years ago. This is when I was still a junior at the university and stuff like that. I was asking a bunch of questions for this product coming through and stuff like that. And to justify why I was asking so many questions was because I was like the desk inside an office and stuff like that. So the students would walk up and so forth like that and be like, all right, they have to line up and, you know, to get serviced and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, that won't exist in 10 years because we'll have technology where the person can walk around with an iPad and get serviced that way. And I was right. Especially at that university. They got rid of all their freaking service desks and stuff like that, and or these other type of kiosks and all this kind of stuff, and they had staff members walk to the students themselves, and yeah. They were interesting. Some of them were really cheap and inaccurate though. Ooh, that's not fun. Alright, so in here, do I have a media query in here? No. But I know I've got a media query here. So I'm just going to copy this. So, with this, we want a media query when it's 577. And what we want is flex direction will be a row. All right. We also want to get rid of, do we want to get rid of the margin to, because we've got margin. I mean, that looks nice like that. It's a decent amount of margin. I'm going to keep it like that. Okay. Waiting a few seconds, hitting reload, checking on the time. All right, cool. So if we bang this down, we get this. Bang it up, we get this. All right. I like that. Let's change the colors of these tasks, these buttons. So start button, I want primary. Pause, I want secondary. This is pause. Ready for QA. Info. Fail will be a, that will be danger. Success will be success. I think danger would be better than warning. So waiting a few seconds, gonna hit reload. So as you see, these are nice and colorful, whilst at the same time still stating what they are. So we can pause this task and be like, all right, cool, pause. Let's set this one to fail. So it failed, so start task, ready for QA. So we can go back to start task, ready for QA, task successful, start task, ready for QA, fail, yep, start task. We've done that, we've done that, we've done that, we've done that, and we're happy. Or I want to switch these because someone could double click by mistake. So I just want the success to be up above the fail. All right. Just wait a few seconds, hit reload. There we go. And that way fails all the way over there. And it stays over there too. So you don't have the fail being like, whoop, here when you click on ready for that. And it kind of makes sense that usually 9 out of 10 times you'd be like this and then this. So yeah. Okay. I am happy how this turned out. We can now pause tasks. And we've got the ready for QA. So yeah, this is looking good. I will need to test this out thoroughly to make sure everything is working. I don't have anything else planned for tonight. I am